All right, we're about to jump into a daily cyber intelligence briefing, and let me tell you, it paints a pretty stark picture of today's digital battlefield. This is not your average everyday update. Nope. We're looking at the most urgent threats happening literally right now, and what it all means for us. So, right off the bat, the report sets the official threat level to high. And that's not just for show, you know? It's a huge signal that there are multiple really serious cyber campaigns actively going on. So, what does a high threat level actually mean? Well, let's break that down. Okay, so think of this as the internet's version of a red alert. Seriously, this isn't some technical warning that only IT departments need to worry about. The report makes it crystal clear. We're talking about active, overlapping digital attacks that are zeroing in on critical sectors, everything from our hospitals to our governments. Yeah, this affects pretty much everyone. Now, to really get a handle on this threat, you have to know who you're up against, right? This intelligence report actually profiles three totally distinct types of adversaries, the ones causing this whole high alert. You can kind of think of them as the main characters in this, well, digital drama. And here they are. First up, we've got the weapon, which is a critical flaw in a piece of code called OpenSSL. Then there are the extortionists, a nasty ransomware gang known as Basta. And finally, we have the spies, a super sophisticated state-sponsored group called APT29. Let's dig into that first one, the weapon. The number you need to see is this, 9.8 out of 10. That is the severity score for this OpenSSL vulnerability. I mean, in the world of cybersecurity, that is terrifyingly close to a perfect score for pure danger. This flaw is basically a ticking time bomb, all because it allows for something called remote code execution. Now, know that sounds super technical, but the concept is actually terrifyingly simple. Remote code execution, it's like a burglar having a master key to your house that they can use from literally anywhere in the world to get in and do, well, whatever they want. That's the kind of power this OpenSSL flaw hands over to an attacker. All right, let's move on to our second threat. We're shifting gears here from a faceless software flaw to a very, very human problem, a criminal gang. This group, Basta, they aren't just exploiting lines of code. No, they're exploiting people and entire organizations for cold, hard cash. And their method is just ruthless. They go after critical infrastructure, places like hospitals and manufacturers, because they know that data is incredibly valuable. They use common, everyday IT tools to just blend in, but the most vicious part, it's their double extortion tactic. See, they don't just lock up your data and demand a ransom. They also steal it, things like sensitive patient health information, and then threaten to leak it all online if you don't pay up. It is maximum pressure, plain and simple. And that brings us to our third and final adversary, the spies. This group is called APT29, but you might also know them as Cozy Bear. And now we're in the realm of international espionage. Their goal isn't money, it's information. Specifically, they're after diplomatic secrets. Just look at how methodical this is. It all starts with a simple lure, a really convincing email about something important, like, say, NATO energy security. You open the attached Excel file and boom, that's the trap. It unleashes a stealthy payload, and before you even know what's happening, they're inside your network, hunting for those diplomatic credentials. It's this whole multi-stage heist that kicks off with just one single click. You know, one of the key things the report points out is that these attackers are just getting stealthier and way more professional. They used to rely on common hacking tools like Cobalt Strike. You can think of that as a popular, easily recognizable getaway car. But now, groups like APT29 are switching to custom frameworks like Sliver. This is like they're building their own untraceable stealth vehicle. It's a huge leap in sophistication, and it makes them so much harder to track. Okay, so we've seen just how sophisticated these attackers are getting. But who's actually in the crosshairs? Who are they targeting with all these advanced methods? This is where these kind of abstract digital threats get very, very real and connect directly to our physical world. The report's industry impact assessment lays it all out, and the data is, well, it's stark. We're seeing healthcare and government at a critical risk level. I mean, that's the highest it gets. And right behind them, you've got energy and manufacturing. This isn't just some theory. These are the sectors that are feeling the heat right this very moment. Yeah, this bar chart really visualizes the danger, doesn't it? Those towering bars for healthcare and government, they're not just statistics on a page. They represent severe, real-world consequences. A critical risk in healthcare means ransomware attacks from groups like Basta, causing hospital downtime, maybe even canceled surgeries. And in government, it means spies like APT29 are stealing state secrets. The impact is direct, it's devastating, and it's exactly why they're such prime targets. Okay, so the situation is obviously serious. But this report isn't all doom and gloom. It's also a battle plan. So let's shift gears and take a look at how cybersecurity professionals are actually fighting back against these adversaries. You see, the core of the whole defense strategy is basically hunting for clues. Every single move an attacker makes inside a network, it leaves behind these tiny little traces. Think of them like digital fingerprints. So the job of a defender is to know exactly what those fingerprints look like and then find them before it's too late. And here, you can see one of those fingerprints up close. This is just a tiny little piece of what's called a detection rule. Now that line of code, it's a very specific command that a particular piece of malware is known to use. So for a security tool, seeing this specific code is like a cop spotting a known getaway car from a wanted poster. It is a dead giveaway that you've got an intruder. So what does this all boil down to? Well, the report gives us a really clear playbook. Number 1, patch critical flaws like that OpenSSL one immediately. 2, harden your logins. We're talking multi-factor authentication. 3, keep a close eye on the remote access tools that these attackers just love to abuse. 4, block the known malicious websites they use to operate. And finally, number 5, don't just sit around and wait for an attack. You've got to be proactively hunting for those digital fingerprints we were just talking about. And this timeline, it really shows you just how urgent this whole situation is. Defense is a flat-out race against time. The report says the OpenSSL flaw needs to be patched immediately. But just look at what's right on its heels. Other critical vulnerabilities with patching deadlines just days away. Defenders have to move unbelievably fast to close these windows of opportunity before attackers can squeeze through. Ultimately, if there's one key takeaway from this entire intelligence report, it's this. This isn't a single battle that you can just win and walk away from. It is a relentless, nonstop race. As soon as defenders patch one hole, you can bet attackers are already finding, or even creating, another one. It's just a constant cycle of adaptation on both sides. Which leaves us with one final and really critical question. We've seen from this report that attackers are getting faster, they're getting stealthier, and way more creative. So the real challenge for all of us is this. How do we make sure our defenses, our tools, our strategies, our very way of thinking evolve even faster?